a number of people with impressive credentials for discussing spiritual formation. To be honest, I'm not one of them. I'm an ordinary woman. I'm a wife, a mother, a blogger, a local church leader. I have no advanced degrees, no imposing list of publications, no enviable resume. So how did I get here? I grew up in a Christian home, went to Christian college, married a Christian man, attended Christian churches, hung out with Christian friends, sent my kids to Christian school. But my heart was hungry for more than I was getting. One day in 1998, a kind pastor gave me a copy of Richard J. Foster's Celebration of Discipline. 2 years later, another pastor gave me a copy of Dallas Willard's The Divine Conspiracy. I'm one of hundreds of thousands of people for whom these two books proved to be life-giving. Then, in 2003, I had the opportunity to attend a Renovaré regional conference at which both Richard Foster and Dallas Willard spoke. At that conference, Richard and Dallas taught about the grace of God and God's work in our lives. They presented a balanced vision and a practical strategy for spiritual growth. Not only that, they demonstrated a love for one another and for the other members of the Renovaré team that spoke volumes to my heart. Beginning that day, the work of God through the ministry of Renovaré has changed my life. I got involved in the work of Renovaré in various roles, and I became a member of Renovaré's ministry team and board of trustees in 2011. At the Renovaré ministry team retreat in June 2012, I was chatting with Dallas Willard and remarked to him, "I really don't have much of a resume." He smiled and nodded and said simply, "Yes, and that's just fine." So I'm here today, writing this spiritual formation primer, not because I'm an impressive expert, but because I've been listening and learning, and I'm grateful for what I've learned. Actually, I'm very grateful I started learning when I did, for I was to face some difficult times. I remember one of those times so clearly that I'll share the story with you. It was the day my 45-year-old husband had open heart surgery. Jack's heart had gone into atrial fibrillation, and extensive testing revealed that his mitral valve needed to be repaired. But just 10 months before Jack's surgery, our 14-year-old son had open heart surgery. So we knew what this meant. We knew what was coming. You see, if a surgeon needs to repair the heart, he first must stop the heart from pumping. Heart surgery requires that the surgical team stop the patient's heart, repair it, and then restart it. And that heart-stopping part is, well, heart-stopping. It's hard to prepare for. Jack made sure that all his affairs were in order and that his will was up to date. Aside from those practical things, there's not much you can do but pray. You know that the surgery is life-threatening, and it's hard to deal with that fact. The surgery date was one of the longest days of my life. The operating room at Duke got backed up, so things started late. The hours dragged. Finally, the surgeon came out to see me just as the clock struck midnight. He explained that the surgery had not gone as planned. Jack's mitral valve was much worse than they'd expected. They'd had to replace it. Part of Jack's heart was now made of stainless steel. The next day was difficult, but exciting. Jack was moved from surgical ICU to a regular room. He was very groggy from the anesthesia. He had 5 IVs, and he had 4 drainage tubes in his chest. But he was alive. Our surgeon came by in the afternoon. I had told Jack about the operation, but the surgeon explained it all again. This time he added some commentary. "Your valve was really in bad shape," he told Jack. "It's a good thing we operated. Otherwise you would have died of heart failure." Just like that, we learned that we'd been wrong. Our anguish had been misplaced. We'd thought of the surgery as life-threatening. Turns out that it was life-saving. Several years have passed since that day, but it's become something of a metaphor for me. I've realized that